Welcome back to Tabletop Jason. I'm Jason. Today I'll be taking a look at Clue, the classic mystery game. This is the Dungeons and Dragons version of it, which is mostly the same game, but just has a D&D theme to it. It's Trouble in Baldur's Gate. Who has been slain by the minions of Zariel? What is the murder weapon? Where has the Infernal Puzzle Box been hidden? This is a game for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up. And if you've played the regular Clue, this is really similar to that, just with the D&D theme. So we'll do the setup real quick. The first thing you need to do is set out the board. Take the Clue cards, they have the box on the side, sort them out into 3 piles of locations, items, and characters. You shuffle them up. Shuffle them up. Pick one of each card. Put them in the little envelope. I wouldn't recommend licking and sealing it because you reuse it. And put it aside. The goal is to guess what's inside that little envelope. So then you take the rest of the Clue cards and shuffle them all together. Everyone playing will receive a player token, an ability card. They have an ability you can use once per game, and each one is different. This one, for example, once per game you may randomly pick a card to look at from someone you just showed a card to, and then flip this over after you use it. You'll then take your Clue sheet and you'll mark off any cards in this first column, any cards that are either in your hand or off to the side. And that's so that you know that there's no way those cards are in the box or in the envelope there. Then you place all characters and items in the middle of the board. Even if you have less than 6 players, you put all 6 of them in the center. And now we're ready to look at a turn. The first thing you do is your move. You roll the dice. You can move up to the number of rolled dice. You can stop on a question mark. You can stop in a room. And when you get to a room, that's where the real action begins. You'll pick a character and an item that are not marked off on your character sheet, and you move them both to the room. So you're going to make a guess. So you'll guess the character you pull over and the item you pull over, and it'll be the room you're in. Then the player to your left, if they have any of those 3 cards, they'll discreetly show you one, and then you know that it's not in the envelope, and you mark it off on your list, and then you pass. There's one thing is if you are in a room already that somebody moved you to, you can choose not to roll. But if you landed in a room yourself, you still have to roll. So like this cat thing gets to be that cat thing's turn. Since they were moved there by another player, they could choose to stay there and pull in a new item and another player and make their guess. And if you are pulled from another room, you can draw an intrigue card. The other 2 ways you draw those are if you roll if you roll a question mark, or if you land on a question mark, you can draw an intrigue card. And I'll get into the intrigue cards in a minute, but first let's go through the guessing. So you go through the board like that, you're making your guesses, marking off your cards, and when you get to where you have everything marked off except one, you quest back to the end of the board, or the beginning of the center of the board, and you open up the envelope. And you don't show it to anyone, but you make your guess based on what was crossed off on your list. So here, it'd be these 3 cards. Now if you're wrong, you kind of lose the game. You can't make any more guesses because you've seen what's inside, but you still stay in the game because other players don't know what cards were in your hand. So you'll still participate in the showing your cards if you have them. So now for the intrigue cards, you'll draw one, and there's going to be 2 types One will be things like this. They'll give you a special ability you can hold on and use whenever the card tells you can use. They're helpful little things. Like this one, for example. Yeah, that's what it says. But the bigger one is this Zariel. There are 8 of him in this deck. The first 7 you draw, they don't mean anything. You just set them aside. But after you draw an 8th one, if you're the player who draws an 8th one, you die. You're out of the game. You flip your cards over so everybody can see what was in your hand, and then you sit out the rest of the game. And then you put that 8th card back into the intrigue desk, shuffle it in so somebody else could draw it. So while you're playing to get to the center and solve the mystery, the Zariel guy is still hunting for you. But that's it for the game. You know, you make your move, you make your guess, you ask the player to your left if they have one of those cards. If they don't, they pass, it goes on to the next player. And once you get down to where you have everything crossed off except for one space in each category, you go to the center of the game and make your guess. It's funny, sometimes these games can go pretty long, other times just the way the dice fell. My daughter was able to guess it after about 4 turns last time we played, so it's really, it's got some variety and length in play. It's fun. Now, would you rather play this one or the original or any of the other variants of Clue? They're all really similar. The difference with this one is the Zariel stuff, and also the board is laid out different in all the different versions. So this one's a little more open-ended. But honestly, it's the same game. So pick a theme you like. I like the fantasy theme. That was why I went with the D&D set. Would I recommend it? Of course. And if you don't have Clue, I would recommend this one. It's fun and it's fancy. But that will do it for the rules and my thoughts. If you'd like to support the site, you can subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will be back soon with another video. So thanks for watching, and I hope you're having a great holiday break.